Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball, and as always, WillPower. And Tony Snap is with us, and actually, Tony is joining the fantasy team. So, thank you, Tony. He's part of the team.
Yay!
Last episode, we talked about the top 3 pitchers, sleepers, bounce backs, and busts. For that podcast, you guys want to go ahead and check it out. It's episode 42. We talked about pitchers, and you will really love that show. I know it's a long video, but we have a lot of good things on there. And if you guys do go on there, make sure you guys subscribe and smash that like. We also have Instagram, we also have Twitter, and we also have TikTok. So you guys can go ahead and do that. It's on Real Talk Baseball. So let's get to it. On this episode, we're talking about catchers, and we're going to go in the same order. Top 3 catchers, sleepers, and bounce back. And the last one, we're going to call it the bus segment. So I think that segment is going to be really important for you guys. If you guys want to go ahead and finish seeing this video, and I hope you do. And you know, these guys had a good conversation last time. It was really cool. It got a little heated, and that's what we want, right? So let's start off with you, Will. Top 3 catchers, man. Who's your number 1 and why?
Number 1, I mean, I think everyone's going to agree with me on this one. He's been number 1 since Posey hasn't been number 1, which was about like the past 3 or 4 years now. And that's JT Realmuto, which is why he is the most sought after catcher in the moment. He's a free agent. A lot of teams gunning for him. We thought the Mets might get him. You know, Mets ended up getting James McCann. But it'll be interesting to see who he goes to. That's another thing that will increase his value. If he decides to stay with the Phillies, not as much runs and RBIs going to count towards his total, but he's still a great pure hitter. So he's going to play a lot of games. Definitely won't play 162. That's really hard for a catcher to do. Yeah. But he'll definitely have some counting stats for you.
Oh, I think that's a good observation. Tony, what do you think? What is your number 1?
Yeah, he's definitely my number 1 as well. He just does everything really good. He takes control of the game. I feel he's a good catcher. His chemistry between the pitchers and them, I think he makes them better. And anybody who picks him up will definitely just be a better team as far as their pitching staff goes. Just his knowledge of the game. So,
I mean, he's a number 1 catcher, right? But does he go on the first round, second round? Where do you think this guy goes?
No, right now his average draft pick is in early round 4, either like late round 3 or early round 4. Personally, I would never pick up a catcher that early. I've made that mistake in the past, and I will never do that again. There's so many other hitters. Now you got to think about. He's like a career 280 hitter, right? Yeah. And because he's only going to play probably 130, 140 games, his counting stats are going to be a little bit lower than, let's say, like a first baseman. Yeah. And the reason why I say first baseman is because usually catchers and first baseman kind of have similar hitting styles, a lot of power, not very high batting average, but since he's going to play so little games, I can see him maybe getting 60 to 70 runs, 60 to 70 RBIs, whereas there's someone else that's going to go in the 3rd or 4th round that's going to get you 100 in both. So whether it's points leagues or categories leagues, I feel like catcher is the least valuable position just because they don't play every day. So that's why I wouldn't go round 4. I think the earliest I draft a catcher is probably late round 5, maybe early round 6.
Damn, you started with round 4 and then you went up to round 5 and 6. What happened?
There's so many other good players that's in round 4, Yeah. Why am I going to choose him over other guys? Especially starting pitching, because pitching is so valuable in the first few rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree completely. I wouldn't look at getting a catcher until, to be honest, maybe like round 15, round 6, and like anything a little bit after that. I mean, you're still going to be looking at some of the top 3 catchers, top 5 catchers in the league. So, I mean, me personally, I almost feel like catchers is like Will mentioned, is just a fill-in, non-existent.
Just to kind of put it in perspective, JT Realmuto is going 49 overall, right? And this is a points league. But then at number 50, you have Max Fried. If you're going to pick up JT Realmuto and you're not going to pick up Max Fried when he's available, you have no idea what the hell you're doing in fantasy baseball, and you should be kicked out.
Uh-oh.
What happened to easy money? What happened to easy money?
That's true. Hey,
play in my league.
Your cash into my pocket. Go ahead and pick up JT Realmuto. I'll get Max Fried.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I guess because he's a 280 average hitter, I guess, and not only because of that, he's number one as a catcher. And you're right. I played fantasy baseball. I don't think I ever picked a catcher like probably 4, 5, 6. I don't think I even look at catchers. Because they're not a point producer or any stat that you think that's kind of like be a big change on your team. So yeah, I mean it's a position on the roster and you have to fill it unless the rule says you don't have to. But you know we still have to go through it because I know there's catchers and there's people that actually look at catchers and be like, okay, I could probably pick them up in 5 or 6. This is the guy I'm gonna go and wait for. They could pick them up early, but you know like Will said and Tony said, these guys are not really going to be making a lot of difference in the team. Tony, let's go with number 2, man.
My number 2 will be Yasmani Grandal. I think he's he was an all-star last year, I think. He's just been really solid for the past few years. Even when he was with the Dodgers, he was really solid. I feel like Grandal adds a lot of value, just not necessarily in fantasy, but just like in another team. Just because he's a switch hitter, he's got pop, and I think overall he's my number 2.
Oh, he's number 2. That's not
definitely.
He's been in the league 8 years, so he does have some good numbers, and it's not like he's not recognized. He bats both sides with the team he is right now with the White Sox. He bats like 5th or something like that, and he does have a few home runs.
4.
Sometimes 4, exactly. So he has a few RBIs with the team. So maybe this year the batting average is not all that great, but home runs and stuff like that, he's up there with home runs and RBIs. So number 2, I don't think is a bad idea to pick him. What's up with you, Will? What do you think number 2? For you, number 2?
I picked the same. I got Yasmani Grandal at number 2. Kind of going along with what Tony said, he doesn't have the highest batting average. He's like a 230 to 240 hitter, but he has some pop. And he's the same thing like we said about catcher earlier, is he's not going to play 162 games, but his home run, his 162 game average home runs is around 25. So 25 home runs for the year for a player that doesn't even play every day, that's pretty good, and not only that, but he's definitely going to stay in the game because his defensive skills are really good. Him and JT Realmuto, they are both really good pitch framers. They have good pop time, throw out a lot of base runners. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be the starting catcher. And another thing about...
You said he throws out, but that doesn't matter.
Grandal, because he's on the White Sox and they have such a good lineup right now. Well, he stays in the game. So, that kind of helps him with the counting stats, if he plays on a daily basis.
Okay.
In real baseball, if the manager sees that he's the better option at catcher, then he's going to play more often. So that's going to help his counting stats and fantasy.
He split a lot of time with McCann last year.
McCann's
so I feel he's gone now. So I feel like I feel like he may get a little more time back in the dish, and maybe he can take a day off here and there and give also Jose Abreu a day off and put Grandal at first.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Or even because they're American League, he can DH.
Yeah.
Hey, so if JT Realmuto is one of the first picks as a catcher, let's say he leaves on round 4 or 5, do you jump on Yasmani right away or you wait?
No.
Well, he's going in like round 12. Mid 12 or early 13. I think that's a really good spot for him. I think that's a steal in that spot. Looking at everyone that's around him, you also have Wilson Contreras that's available around the same time. And between those two guys, I'd rather have Grandal.
Yeah, if you're picking him for your number 3, number 2 out of the 3, you should be picking Grandal over Contreras.
yeah, for sure.
I think there's
other guys that are around. Kenley Jansen, Michael Brantley, Rhys Hoskins, they're decent. Kenley Jansen, I would skip that guy. I'll let someone else have that guy. But Michael Brantley, Reese Hoskins, Josh Donaldson, David Price, all those are really good players going in round 12 or 13. But if I see those guys along with Yasmani Grandal and I have my catcher spot open, I think I'd rather have Grandal. In round 12, I personally think that's a steal.
Yeah, not bad. All right, well, there you have it. Let's move on to number 3. Will, can you tell us who you picked for number 3?
I don't think that Tony's gonna agree with me on this one.
I don't think so.
Kind of out of the park. But I'm going Gary Sanchez, number 3.
Oh! Is it getting heated now?
No. Number 3 though, I don't know.
Let me tell you why. Now he's going just a few rounds later than Yasmani Grandal. He's going in round 16. But this guy has so much pop. In 162 games, he can have 40 to 50 home runs. And he doesn't have to play catcher every day. The Yankees utilize him as a DH often. So he's only behind the plate 3 or 4 times. And I know there's been a lot of talk about him being a liability behind the plate. He had one season where he had like a bunch of errors behind the plate. I think it was like 6 or 7 errors in the season. And for a catcher, you can't be making those type of errors. Those are game-ending errors.
Runs, yep.
And I understand, the mindset that people are in when they saw stuff like that, especially Yankees fans, growing some hate for the guy. But that was one season. The season after, he came back, and I think he only had one misplay behind the plate. And, the season in question, I think it was just like a miscommunication between him and Severino, because Severino, they had like the different signs. They had their signs mixed up. Yeah. So I understand why he made so many errors at that point. He was just, I don't know, out of his mind that time. But
he's a big time home run hitter. Like
and a 236 batting average career.
Yeah.
236 batting average in his career is not bad at all, especially for a guy that's going to hit 40 home runs in a season. You see guys like Joey Gallo hitting 250 with, 50 home runs. And then you see a catcher with 236 batting average with 40 home runs. Yeah. That's not that much of a difference.
It's not, it's a catcher that's going to be hitting a lot of home runs. That's going to try to get you. I mean, if it's a points league, he's getting you. I mean, however
those home runs count.
Those home runs count. And if he's hitting, if it's an entire season, it's like 30 home runs. That's a lot of home runs. And you're looking at doubles, and you're looking at, triples. The guy doesn't run that well, but but you have extra base hits with this guy, and like the 2017 season, he did pretty good. He didn't do that bad. He had 90 RBIs, 33 home runs, 131 hits. So you're talking about a guy that was batting 278 that year. For a catcher, that's good numbers. Those are numbers that aren't really, really talked about. So
he even for the American League, he even finished 22nd in MVP voting that season.
Did he?
As a catcher. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. It is. It is.
And he won the Silver Slugger for American League catchers that year also. So, but then you look at next year, right? And he slumped big time. 186 batting average, a 291 on base percentage. Now, 2 big takeaways I get from that. He was really banged up that season. He was hurt. He went on the IL 3 or 4 times that season. He was out for 3 weeks, and then he came back and he got hurt again, like a leg thing, and then he went back out, and then it was a knee thing, and then he went back out, and he just kept on getting hurt, and that plays with your mind. It's a lot of issues with kind of getting back into the rhythm, getting your timing down right again, constantly just the doctor telling you like you can't swing a bat for 2 weeks. These guys, professional ball players that swing a bat every single day of their lives, even in the off season, and then all of a sudden the doctor says 2 weeks, don't even grab a bat. And that does take a toll on you. It messes with your confidence. There's so many things that go along with it. So his batting average went down so much, 186. But the biggest thing that I see is from his batting average that was 186, his on-base percentage was over 100 points higher at 291. So his plate discipline was still pretty good, Same thing we were talking about Max Muncy just a few weeks ago, how his on-base percentage is over 100 points higher than his batting average. You know, that's huge, because at least you're getting on base, and then the guy that's hitting behind you, if it's Stanton or Shella or whichever of the Bronx Bombers is batting behind you, they have a really good chance of hitting it out of the park or even hitting a double, and then Gary Sanchez gets knocked in and scores the run for you.
Dang. So I mean, it's a lot of good points that you're giving, and I know number 3 for me, if that 2017 happens again, I would have him on the top 3, but because of 2018, 19, and 20.
Well, 19 he was good. 19 he hit 30 home runs.
He hit 30 home runs.
I feel like he is good one year and then bad one year, just probably from being banged up so much.
Yeah.
He had a 2017 good year, 2018 bad year, 2019 hit 30 home runs, great year, right?
Yeah.
Last year he was bad. He had the average of 147.
Yeah.
Struck out 64. So that plate discipline that we saw in 19 and 17 wasn't there last year. And
his on-base percentage was still over 100 points higher this past season. It was a batting average 147 and then on-base percentage 253. So he's still walking a lot.
Yeah, which is good for points, even for categories. So I guess, I mean, I don't know. Do you agree, Tony, that he's number 3 or
no?
No.
I don't. I feel like he's still in my top 10, just basically because of what he's done in the past. Yeah, the power, the pop. We know he can hit. We know he's had injuries that kind of maybe stifled him a season or two, but I feel like I can hold off on it. My number 3 personally is Salvador Perez. And with the Royals, I feel like he has a better track record of being an offensive guy. He's good behind the dish. Defensively, he's really good, I feel. Perez, he's been, let's see, it says here an all-star, maybe for the past 5 seasons that he played. He didn't play 2019 at all because he was out. But
it's when he slipped on the stairs when he was like trying to grab his suitcase and then broke his foot or something.
Yeah. I heard it was pretty bad.
So this guy has 333 batting average. Am I reading it right? 11 home runs, 150 at bats, 50
last year. He had a great year.
Yeah.
This past season he came back hard.
Exactly.
So why is he not number 1 if he has those stats? Really?
It's because he's Salvador Perez, and everyone can have a breakout season.
Yeah. Well, see, look, that's where I feel you're kind of wrong. He's had plenty of breakout seasons. The only thing I feel he's not number 1 is because just like the real world, fantasy baseball is a lot of like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
That's probably why I put Trevor Bauer so high in my top 3 during the starting pitchers. I feel like Salvador Perez has been forgotten about because 2018, 2017, 16, all the way back to 2013, he's been an all-star catcher. Like
6 years.
Carlo said, he's averaged for the past 9 years is 269. I mean, that's really good. Yeah. That's good. And I've always, every time I've played during fantasy baseball, when he's been on, he's on. His offense is great.
Yeah, he won the World Series back in 2015.
And I think he's a steal at where you get him at too.
Where do you get him? Where would you get him at number 3?
I think you see him at like round 15, round 15? 14.
That late? Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's because and
catcher's
not a great pick.
Yeah, it's not. You're saying this because it's not a great pick. It shouldn't be one of the first picks that you should be going. There's more other players that you can go ahead and fill on your roster that you're like, this guy can wait, and because no one should be going after catchers, right?
Yeah.
And if there's people that are going after catchers, and you're okay not having a great catcher, just going off of like, okay, I'll just wait and not worry about the catcher spot. But if he's there, you will definitely pick him up for sure, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like he should be going around round 15, or if not a little bit sooner, maybe like around 13. probably be the soonest I would pick him up. But that's if like a lot of like the top. But we'll see. Like, there's nobody really much ahead of him.
Yeah.
There's Contreras is probably the only person that comes to mind aside from and Will Smith.
Will Smith.
He just barely missed my top 3.
Yeah.
The only reason I put Perez there was because he's been more consistent when he's proven to be healthy, because he has had all-star years, but also only played like half the season, and the only reason he was the all-star is because we saw him break out, and I feel like he's had more breakout seasons, and unfortunately he's a little bit more injury bug ridden, and that's probably why a lot of people don't see him as a top 3, maybe top 5. But me personally, if I see him there, I'm picking him up.
Definitely picking him up, and that's not a bad idea. Like, I think you're right.
He's also in the American League, so that gives him more opportunity to play DH. Also, depending on who the Royals decide to have as their permanent DH, if they have a permanent DH at all.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think that's a really good. And I see his numbers, and I'm like, how come he doesn't go number 1? You're going, yeah, and yeah, he hasn't been there like really consistent because of injuries and stuff like that. But this 2020 season, maybe it has to do with the shortened season. We don't know that, right? We don't know if this next year's going to be a shortened season. There's been talks that there looks like they want to go ahead and wait the season out till May. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it happens, we're going to have all these episodes ready for you guys, and you guys can do your fantasy picks off of what these two guys are saying. And hopefully there's good information, because you guys are getting watched. All right, so let's move on to the next category, sleepers. Who are your sleepers? Tony, tell me a good sleeper who I can pick up.
I feel like a great sleeper for me personally would be James McCann, just because of where he's going at. He's not even, I think he's going at, let me see where he's at. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. And he just signed with the Mets.
Look, I gotta scroll all the way down. He's not even ranked in the top 300.
Wow.
And to me, James McCann is like a discounted Realmuto.
Mm-hmm.
He's been really good. They have a lot of similar stats last year.
Yeah.
It was a short season, but 2019, McCann had an all-star season with the White Sox.
Yeah.
And I really like what he brings to the table. I feel like he's gonna make the pitching staff better at New York. I feel like it was a good steal, and to me, he's gonna be a sleeper because even last year he had an all-star season, but also remember he only played half the games because of Grandal as well.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to bring out some stats right here. His batting average, he actually did better than Realmuto last season. He had a 289 batting average, on base percentage 360. Slugging percentage was at 890, where Realmuto was at 840. So I feel like he's like a Realmuto-esque. Maybe like just I don't want to like put him down in any way, but just like a rip-off version, or like Kmart or something like that version of him. But he's really good, and I feel like you could get a lot out of him value-wise, especially because he's not even ranked, so people probably aren't even thinking about McCann. And if you can get a little bit better, maybe like 4 or 5 round, not round, but like pitchers that are towards the end of the cycle. I almost feel like I will pick up a pitcher before
you do them.
Yeah,
depending on which pitchers are available, also.
Right. But I feel
if
like
you're in a really good league, the other teams, they're going to pick up all those pitchers that are already available.
That I'm thinking of.
Exactly.
And do you agree with that, Will? Do you think McCann is a sleeper?
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yes.
Looking at the ADP, looks like he's going in round 23. So round 23. That's like usually most leagues don't even have 23 rounds. It's
wait, Will.
22.
Will, you agreed? I just want to make. Just want to make sure.
Time, right?
All right, I just want to get that one out there.
He doesn't have as much pop as these other guys like Grandal and Sanchez and he doesn't, and Perez. Yeah. And he doesn't have the batting average that Realmuto does. But he in 162 game average, he usually gets 18 to 20 home runs. So when you don't play every day, 20 home runs is not so bad. I mean, that's kind of what like Will Smith is going to get for the Dodgers, right?
Yeah. And he's going to the Mets to be the starter. Is he going to be the full-time starter there, or?
I'm sure he will be. Why else would they sign him for $10 million a year for 4 years?
I would say he's better offensively than Ramos, if he's even still a Mets.
Ramos is kind of old now, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's good.
That's not a bad sleeper, Tony. I actually agree with you on that. I'm looking at his numbers and everything, and it's like, I was like, no wonder Will's like, I think that's
last year he hit 7 home runs. And what did Real Moto hit 11? Grandal hit 8. So he was just one behind, Grandal. I feel like he's a good steal, sleeper for a catcher.
The only
position.
thing that I can think of for him is I think people are going to pick him up just because he signed that big contract.
You think
I
so?
don't think he's going to go all the way at the end of the draft. I think that he's probably going to go maybe like round 18 or 19, which is, I in my opinion, it's still a steal for a guy that can hit, that way. When in round 18 and 19, all you're getting is reserves anyway. Usually you're picking up your bench players or relievers that are just maybe going to help your ERA or WHIP or something. But yeah, I agree. I think that he would be a good asset in your lineup at the catcher position, especially if you don't have one of the top 3.
And Will, is that your sleeper, or you're just agreeing with Tony?
I was
have another sleeper
about him, but then when I thought about, like people are probably going to be picking up early because of the Mets signing. That's why I didn't pick him. My pick actually is Danny Jansen from the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
Yeah, I like him a lot too.
Yeah, man. He was a top prospect. He came into the league looking like he was definitely going to be the starter for Toronto, and he was going to kind of just break out. And he hasn't really had that breakout season yet. In 3 seasons in the majors, his best season was a 247 average, and that wasn't even a full season. That was just just a small little thing. But his on-base percentage was 100 points higher than his batting average that year. So he definitely has the plate discipline, which I love a lot. He also has some decent pop. 162 game average. It says 20 home runs. Just like we said for catchers, since they don't play every day, 20 is great. I more look, because he's so young, I look at his minor league numbers, and his minor league numbers, the 2 seasons before he made it into the bigs was 323 and 275. And I know it's hard to correlate minors into the majors because the minors have such lower grade pitching, but I mean that's AAA ball. AAA ball, there's a lot of really good pitchers compared to AA and single A. So
is he going to be the starter though for the Blue Jays?
I'm pretty sure.
He should.
I can't think of anyone else that the Blue Jays would really have other than him. I really think it's just going to come down to if they pull off a big signing like JT Realmuto, who's everyone's gunning after right now.
Everybody,
He's on the Blue Jays radar because they want to spend money and they want to start winning games. They made that kind of obvious when they signed Hyun-Jin Ryu, right? They got their ace finally now. And, with Vlad and Bo Bichette, a couple other guys on the team, yeah, exactly. They want this core group to just, they want to add to it. And if they sign JT Realmuto, that wouldn't surprise me at all. It might be good for him too, just because he'd be able to get a day off once in a while and still hit because of the DH. Because like we said before, they don't really have a permanent DH right now. A lot of teams don't. So I think it's just like the top teams, like the Yankees and not even the Red Sox anymore. But
what round does this guy go?
This guy goes in round 27, so he's not even
he's not even on there
at all.
He's not even on the draft.
No way.
Sleeper.
And
unless you have like one of those leagues that has like 5 outfielders and like 7-8 bench spots, that's the only reason why this guy would really get drafted in the first place. Or two catcher leagues. There's a lot of other leagues that have 2 catchers, which I don't really understand those leagues, but I mean I have played in a couple of those, which is why this guy would be my sleeper.
We don't want 2 catchers. Like maybe because So I guess these people that have those two catchers thing, I think is because the catcher doesn't play every day. They don't. It's not old-fashioned baseball, right? It's not those old times where they played 162 games. That catcher's in there for 160 or 161. They just miss one because they're like, I just want to rest the last game. But now you have to have.
And that was before the knee savers.
Exactly. So now you have two catchers because you're like, oh man, I want to have two catchers. I want to have one in the bench and one ready to go, and then lefty-righty matchup and all that other stuff that new baseball is coming up with. It's kind of like weird.
Well, those leagues, the two catcher leagues, then you actually have two roster spots for catchers. So you play both of them.
No. Yeah, I don't want to play that one.
You definitely don't want to pick like two catchers from the same team.
No, I don't want to do that. No, of course not, man. No, that's not even.
A lot of times, though,
what about if
those
you're
are
the
leagues
Dodgers?
that have like 8 or 10.
You have like 30. Nah, dude, it's just I don't know. I've never seen that, but I understand why they would do it. It's just a position. To me, catcher, I'm not saying anything wrong about the catcher. It's just a position in the MLB that's really not looked at for hitting. It's more of the fielding, catching, and navigating their pitches through the game, right?
Do not matter really in fantasy.
Exactly. And then in fantasy baseball, those stats don't really matter. What matters is hitting, and you're just in a position. So that's why you guys are saying that these catchers are leaving at the later rounds. We're talking about the rounds where not even are even mentioned. So if you take anything from this show and this episode, hopefully you guys are listening and saying, yeah, I think the catcher's the last one I need to pick, because it makes no sense to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and pick a catcher over like Mike Trout or one of those picks, right?
Oh, definitely not.
No, of course.
Now, this
that's
is
what
the
I'm
thing
saying.
about Jansen or guys that are going to go so late, like Tony's sleeper.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to draft this guy. If you draft Yasmani Grandal and he fouls a ball off his leg and he's going to be out for a month, you need to pick up a decent backup.
Yeah.
And one of these guys could be your decent backup and potentially be a sleeper and help win your league.
Yeah. And
so
that's
you don't
good.
necessarily have to draft these guys, because they're not going to get drafted. They're going way too late. But usually on most sites, you can click on the player and you can click watch, and it'll kind of give you updates, notifications about, how the player is doing, if he's doing good, if he's doing bad, what he did yesterday, all that stuff. So
nice. That's cool. And those are cool little features that the apps have, because you can go ahead and do that and you can get informed with any player. Yeah, it does. Even I know that one. All right, we got our sleepers. Let's go ahead and move to bounce back. Who is it? Who is your bounce back, Will?
My bounce back. I'm curious as to see what Tony's is, but mine is going to be Buster Posey. Buster Posey, known as one of the greatest catchers from the past decade. Won 3 world championships with San Francisco.
Yeah, no, I was kind of thinking because I'm like, he didn't even play last year, so.
No, he opted out for COVID because him and his wife adopted twin girls, I think. Okay. So he had infants at home, so he didn't want to put them at risk at all, which that's what a good dad does. So more power to that guy. But I think because it's the same thing with Salvador Perez, right? Salvador Perez didn't play 2019 at all because of that injury. Mm-hmm. And then he comes back in 2020 and he's stronger than ever, and I think the same thing is going to happen with Buster Posey. I think that he had the year off, let his knees heal a little bit, because catchers, their knees are all messed up from just years and years just crouching down the whole time, especially for an hour and a half every day, and then you also have bullpen sessions on the side. It's a lot for these guys to handle.
Hey, Will, who are we talking about though? What's his
Buster
name?
Posey.
Oh yeah.
You want to show that toilet seat with the Giants over it?
I should have. It's over there. But yeah, I like Buster Posey. He's a really good player. I picked him once in my fantasy, and he actually does good. He's a 300 hitter. Was a 300 hitter back then. Yeah. I don't know now. And bounce back, because he didn't play last year, and you hit it right on the button with that one, saying that he didn't.
In 2019, he had a down season, a 257 batting average. But if you look at every single season before that, 284, 320, 288, 318, 311, 294. This guy can hit.
Yeah.
You know, he led the league in batting average in 2012.
So why is he not one of the top 3 then?
He didn't play last year. He's kind of old. He lost his pop.
I would say that's
25 home runs every season. Okay. Now he's more like 10 if he's lucky. You know, I think having that year off though, and going to be working with this younger team that the Giants have now, I think that's going to be like a motivation for him. He's also coming up on a contract year, so if he wants to continue playing baseball for a few more years, he has to step up his game. And like I've said before, a lot of times these players, when they're in a contract season, they step up their game huge. You know, just like Eric Hosmer did in 2015. That's why he got that big contract with the Padres, and now he sucks again.
Let's do that. Hey, so Tony, do you agree with that one, Buster Posey comeback, or you have your own?
I have my own, but I like that pick a lot. I feel like Buster Posey, if anybody should get like the comeback player or catcher of the year, it shouldn't go. I mean, Buster Posey's a great candidate. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
I really like him. Never really trash talks. I like him. I like him. He seems like a solid dude.
Yeah.
You know, he had those probably, you know, maybe 5-6 year stretch where he was the best catcher in the game. You know, but as Will mentioned, you know, they won 3 titles. During that. but I really like him, and that's not a bad choice. But actually, I think Will's gonna take exception. Maybe like last time. It's funny how it worked out. My comeback player is going to be Gary Sanchez. Will has him down as his number 3.
Yeah.
I think he barely hits, you know, top 5, if that. Yeah. But I feel like Sanchez is... I feel like we just need more average out of him, you know? And the Yankees really need average. They're known as the Bombers. And they do expect him to be hitting about 30 home runs or 25 home runs. And, you know, as we were saying earlier, he had that 2018 season where he hit only 18. Last season, he only hit 10. I know it was really short season, but like, I mean, they paid him big bucks. And I feel like the 2021 season is pretty much put up or shut up, you know? And you know, because he was pretty close to getting benched for this last season for that the other catcher. He's really good too. I like him a little bit better than Sanchez just because he has more contact. More
Romine.
What's his name? He's got a weird last name.
Oh my God. Really?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know his
Austin Romine, is it?
No. It's the other catcher that New York had.
Oh, not really a Yankee fan, so I really don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Higashioka.
Right? Yeah, he did really good. He surprised me last year.
Yeah,
you know?
seriously.
And I feel
popped too.
I feel like a lot of Yankees fans were like, sit Sanchez down for him. You know, like because he was a little more consistent, and I feel like this
so
year,
you think the competition's gonna help Gary Sanchez, and he's gonna be the
I hope so. I mean, last year he had a really bad season.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping for a comeback for him, just because he seems like a decent guy. You know, like Will said, he had that one bad season where it defensively. You know, but I feel like he's been improving defensively year after year after year. And I feel like 2021 should be the season where we either see him become the Gary Sanchez of old, where he should be in the top 3 discussion, you know, as opposed to where we're talking about, does he even hit the top 10, top 5? And that's why I chose him as my comeback player at the catcher position.
And then you did see a little bit of glimpse in the playoffs, right? Gary Sanchez was,
a little resurgence.
Yeah, so it looked like he was back in form. It looked like he was hitting the ball right on the on the sweet spot. So maybe that's just a little bit of booster confidence for him, and it's just gonna you're going to be able to see it in 2021.
I don't know if you guys have seen, but he's also playing in the Dominican League right now, and he's hitting the cover off the ball, man.
Yeah, he crushed one.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand, that these players sometimes don't even take off. They just go ahead and go into Dominican Republic, to the Mexico League, to other leagues in Asia. They go and play, and they just don't stop playing baseball.
In baseball, that's what you have to do. You have to be consistent so you can keep your timing. You have to keep your contact up. When you get inside your head and you start switching things around, you take too much time off, that's when you start struggling a lot. Yeah. I think that's the problem with a lot of the American players, because they don't do these type of things that guys from the Dominican do, or guys from Japan do. Look at Cody Bellinger after his MVP season. Look at Christian Yelich after his MVP season. They go home, they spend time with their families. Nothing wrong with that. But their game does suffer a little bit when they come back. Not all of us can be like Mike Trout and just hit 320 every year with 50 bombs,
That's true. Well, with that, let's move on to the last category. And this is the last category for the show. And this is where we have you guys battle it out, going back and forward if you guys don't agree with your both picks. So this is the bus. Actually,
that was easy.
There you go. Let's pick it. Go ahead and who went last? You went last, Tony. So let's go ahead. Will, who's your bust?
It was really kind of a toss up between a couple guys, but ultimately I went with my number one guy. I went with JT Realmuto.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm calling him a bust is plain and simple. He's just going too early in the draft. And to get the type of production that you need from a round 4 player, I don't see this guy getting, helping out your team that much. 21 home runs in a 162 game average. I feel like there's so many other guys in round 4 that you could get that's going to help your team a lot more. In round 4, you could get pitchers like Mike Clevenger. You can get next year, because obviously he's going to be out for a year. But Kershaw's going like round 5. Personally, I'd rather have Kershaw in round 5 than Realmuto in round 4. I think Kershaw's going to get you a lot more points than Realmuto does. He doesn't have that much pop. He does have batting average, so he's pretty consistent. He's going to get you 2 or 3 points a day, right? So at the end of the week, you'll probably end up with 10 to 15 points, maybe a little bit more if he hits a home run. But 2 starts from a really good pitcher that's going to go in the same round is going to get you 20 to 40 points. So that's the reason why he's my bust. I don't think that he's going to be a bad player, by any means. I just think that he's going a little bit too early for his overall value.
That's good that you're telling us that, because I know if I see JT Realmuto as a person that doesn't do what you guys do, get up at 1 a.m. and see who's free and ready to go, like I just be like, oh, he's still available in the round 4. Maybe I should just pick him up. But you're right. It does make sense that he would be a bust. And then not only that, he still hasn't signed with a team yet. You don't know what team he's going to. That has a lot to do with it.
It really does.
Yeah, that's something we haven't even touched about. We touched about Bauer last time, how he hasn't signed a team. And Tony, was he your top 3, or he was right with Beaver, right? So because he hasn't signed with a team, it's kind of like hard to know. Maybe it is the right spot, maybe it's not. Maybe so it has a lot to do with that. So I understand where you would want to hold off, and I understand, Will, that's a really good pick to pick as a bust. I agree. Yeah, that's a real good one. He is number 1 catcher, but he could be that bust too.
I mean, especially because you can get the next best catcher 10 rounds later. Who's probably going to get around the same amount of points total for the season because of his pop. And I'm not disagreeing with you, man. I completely understand you. That's really good. Tony, you agree with Will's bust?
That's actually a pretty good bust. Like I like the way he explained it. What? I feel like he brought up some very good, interesting points. Just because of the overall fantasy value, I feel like he probably would be a bust, just because you probably get more points or a better pick, someone that's just gonna be better for your fantasy overall team. So I really like that pick.
Cool. But I'm pretty sure you didn't pick that guy, did you? Or you
No,
did?
no. I would say it was really hard for me to pick like a sleeper and a bust.
Because it's a catcher, right?
Yeah. It was really hard for me. But I feel like my bust this upcoming season would be Austin Nola from the San Diego Padres.
Okay.
Yeah. And the only reason I kind of put him as a bust is just because he finished 4th overall as catcher in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he hit a lot of people's radar, and he probably just edged out a top 10 pick. Yeah. I just feel like, honestly, something about the Padres staff, they just make their catchers look bad. I don't know. Just a few seasons ago, they had Francisco Meja, if I remember correctly. He was a touted prospect, the next Buster Posey, and he just didn't do anything, And I just feel like, and it kind of comes, like my train of thought right now is he played half the season with Seattle, and then half the season with the Padres.
Yeah.
When he was with Seattle, he was amazing. He was really good, I feel like as soon as he went over to the Padres, he just fell off. Like the bat was gone, The only reason he probably is of any value to fantasy owners, if you pick him up towards the end of rounds, would be just because he plays first base as well. He plays second base as well.
Yeah.
I feel if you pick him up as a catcher, though, like your main catcher, just because he hit a lot of people's radar this year, you feel like, oh yeah, he's going to be good. That's the only reason I would put him down as a bust, just because the track record San Diego Padres have with their catchers, they've never been known as a
team that has a good catcher, and they had a good catcher in
like Austin Hedges too, right?
Yeah.
Because Austin Hedges was supposed to be like their next big thing also, and he kind of just fizzled out too.
And they had Yasmani Grandal too, and they traded him off. Like
to who?
To the best team in the world, man, the Dodgers.
Exactly. They don't know what they're doing.
So I agree with you on that one. I do want to say something though that the Padres are trying to do, and they're trying to get Yadier Molina. Is it Yadier? No. Dang, Yadier Molina. That's one of the top teams that are actually trying to get him, man. It's pretty cool. Yeah, dude. So
Yadi does want to win. I have heard that he wants to win.
He wants to win one more before he retires. So maybe Austin won't even be a starter with the Padres, but the Padres did trade for him this last season so they can go ahead and boost up that pitching staff, and it didn't work out. It was like a shortened season already, and then probably by game 30, game 35. You bring in another battery to mess with your pitching staff, which didn't work out for the Padres. We all know that, right? And you're picking him as a bust. I think that's a real good bust, to be honest, right? Will?
In my head, I'm thinking the Padres might be smart by doing that because they know that they're not good at developing their catchers.
Yeah.
So bringing in a guy like Yadier Molina is going to help. He's going to be a player coach. So he's going to play once in a while, probably split time with Austin Nola, and he's going to give some guidance, some really good guidance that this kid needs. This guy's a really young player. I don't know if you guys know, but his brother plays for the Phillies. He's one of their starting pitchers, Aaron Nola.
Oh,
so,
the top pitcher for the Phillies?
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty much. But
yes.
He's been around pitching and catching like his whole life. So he has a good background, just throwing in the backyard with his brother probably when they were kids. So, being the young player that he is, I mean, the Padres aren't going to do anything too stupid right now. They traded for this guy because they see potential in him. And they would sign Molina because they see the potential that
making him
could transfer over to Austin Nola. And just like you said about the position availability, that's huge in fantasy. If I picked him up in this past season, Austin Nola, he wasn't my primary catcher. I don't remember who I had, but I slotted him in at first base whenever my first baseman needed a day off. I don't even remember who my first baseman was, but whenever my first baseman had a day off, just in real baseball, it was easy just to, slot that guy in and see him go 1 for 3 or whatever he did on the day. I don't think that he's a bad option at all.
No.
I think he has a decent batting average. Pop could use, a little bit more power, but I think he's a decent pickup as a backup or, a bench player to help you at first or second base, wherever he's available.
So you made a good point, you big time point. If this was in fantasy, I'll be like, man, yeah, you hit it right on the button with that one, with Molina coming to the Padres and teaching him everything that he knows, right? Like, who wouldn't want to learn from Molina? He's
known as one of the best catchers ever.
Yeah, he is.
He's a definite Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
all
sure.
His brothers are all catchers. So,
Molina's the type of guy that he's even played 162 games in a season before.
Exactly.
He doesn't get days off. Now he does, because he's like, what,
He's
36?
Twilight year. Yeah.
He's older. I don't know what age he is, but I know he's an older guy, and now he wants to win his last World Series. And if he does go with the Padres, watch out, Dodgers. Molina knows a lot of little tricks. He puts pine stars on his freaking chest protector, and the ball sticks to him.
On his baby blue chest protector.
Exactly. And the MLB doesn't do anything. Oh, here,
right?
I'm talking. Oh, here you go.
That was insane.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever it is, man. But hitting wise, I think Austin Nola he was really solid with Seattle. Just when he went to San Diego, I don't know if it was because of change of scenery. He saw a lot of star power there, and he wanted to perform up to that level. It
got intimidated.
Yeah, and it does happen for a player. And I don't know if he's a bust. Maybe he will be a bust. But maybe it'll be a boost, a confidence booster if they do get Molina. His hitting won't suffer, and he will be, dealing with one of the great ones with him, like behind the plate, teaching him how to do things and move, and it will improve his batting too. Because usually when you're comfortable doing your thing, and we've seen it with so many baseball players when they're playing different positions, like if I'm gonna name this guy, Macaulay Bellinger, when he plays first base and then they put him back in the outfield, it looks more comfortable when he's on the outfield. And you can see it in his batting. When he's playing first base and he's batting, he's kind of like, I'm not comfortable. So maybe when a player gets comfortable on his position, he does a lot better. And if, let's say, Molina doesn't sign with the Padres, then I would say, yes, he's a big time bust. He would be a bust for 2021 because he's going to be pressing and he's going to be pushing to try to play just like everybody in the Padres have been playing. And they have a lot of star power there. So, anything else you guys want to add before we go ahead and sign out? I know we got a lot of information for everybody here, and really good information. I actually like the pitching one, and now this one, just telling me not to wait on the catchers, is really good information for anybody that's actually watching this video, which is really cool. Tony, anything to add?
No, I just what you guys mentioned though. Like I really do hope. I don't think he's a bust per se, but the only reason I kind of put him there was just because he ended up in the top 5 back catchers of 2020. And I don't want anyone looking at that and being like, he's going to be my top 5 catcher. Yeah. That's the only reason. But like you mentioned, if Molina does end up signing with the Padres, I think that's a great acquisition for them, just because of the potential that Nola has as becoming, just like what Molina is a great catcher. I feel like if they really do, it looks like for the past couple of seasons, San Diego has been wanting a solidified catcher to manage the game, as calling strikes or not, but framing and everything that comes along with the catcher position. Yeah. So if they are looking at Nola and looking to have him as their future catcher, then they should probably pick up Molina just so he can have that guidance for him. So cool. But yeah, that was the only reason I put him as a bust. It was really hard to put a bust. It's really hard to put a bust on the position that you really don't see points from. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. And so I understand where you would be like, kind of like, and then you guys have said in the shows before, like you guys look at consistency throughout the years. And this guy only had a good season last year. He hadn't had good seasons before because he hadn't played that much. Yeah,
I mean, he's still like a rookie. So.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like his third year, I think.
Exactly. So he's still considered a rookie. He's still considered someone that's getting ready to be a big time player because he does have those power numbers, right? He does have that power that he can hit home runs. He can hit for singles or he could bat. He can even play different positions. So, I mean, Will, anything to add before we go ahead and sign out?
I mean, when you're drafting, just make sure that you're looking at all the other players around the catcher position, because if you pass up on a really good player to get a guy, one of the guys that we mentioned, a JT Realmuto or Gary Sanchez or Grandal or whoever it may be, your league is going to suffer. Your team is going to suffer because someone else is going to pick up the guy that you passed on, and you're going to get stuck with a really good catcher, but someone that's not as valuable as someone else around you.
Yeah, and then you can use them as trade bait like you guys do, and you guys will miss out on good players. No, because I see you guys pick up some players that you're like, I don't really need them, but I'm gonna use them as trade bait. And
yeah, for sure.
So I mean, I don't do that. Like you guys, like I said earlier in the show, you guys wake up at 1 to see who's ready to go. Even if you guys are missing on sleep, you guys do it. You guys are trying to get sleepers. You guys are trying to find the best scenario for your team, which is what we're doing here, trying to give you guys advice. Go ahead and like our video. If you guys don't like it, go ahead and put why you don't like it. You don't like Tony, you don't like Will, you don't like me, I don't care. Just put it on there. I'm CarloBaseball. This is Tony sNap. This is WillPower. This is Real Talk Baseball signing out.
See you guys.
Hey.